Insights for Education and Bilingualism. Now the question is, how do all these findings relate to the issue of bilingualism and how are they related to education? So, the answer seems to be over here that you might be figuring out is to give them all English language. Does it resolve the problem? Yes, but not to the extent that we want it to resolve. The point is that if we are ignoring multilingual diversity of the context within which we are living, then we are doing serious harm to the education system itself and to people's identity also. Even if we give them all English language, which we should. So whenever we are talking about the question of languages in education, we do not need to discuss it in terms of either or, whether we should give them English or Urdu or regional languages. We just need to give them all three because this is a multilingual context and they need the lingua franca of Urdu to communicate with different communities. They need their own language to connect with their own communities, and they need English language to communicate with a wider global world. Yes, of course. So all of them definitely should have access, equal access to the knowing of English language, to the knowing of Urdu language, and to the knowing of the regional language. But when we devalue the local linguistic capital and we say, like we have already said without verbally saying it, we have seen that there is no role of regional languages, at least in these two metropolitans. So we are giving out a message that regional languages are not important and they are not needed. Where did we see the use of regional language in any signposting or in any hospital or in any newspaper? We did not. So the point is that we are then leading people towards language shift, and we are leading especially the minor languages towards language death. So when people want their children to succeed, which they rightly do, they would like them to learn only the languages that will help them succeed. When they see there is no benefit in learning the local languages, then they don't learn the local languages. And you can see in Punjab, for instance, that the parents stop talking to their next generation in Punjabi. They use only in Urdu. Rather, some people are even proud of the fact that their children do not know Urdu at all and they just know English, or they don't know how to speak in a regional language and they only can speak in Urdu, for instance. That makes maintenance of language difficult. And it does some serious harm because cultural knowledge is embedded in the local languages and we are dismissing local cultures and these people are trying to be someone else and not to be who they are. So there has to be an education which invests them with a sort of a high self-esteem in their own communal identity. So that is a big problem. So if we talk about English language, yes, very, very important and it should be there. But then we are saying that we need to keep in mind how many literate people are in Pakistan. As we quoted the figure, if the literacy in Pakistan is around 58% and it has remained so for the past 2 years, then that would mean that such a large population in Pakistan is not in schools. If it is not in school, then the English language or the Urdu language that can be learned are mostly can be learned in schools. So if the access to these two languages are over there, and if people who are educated would like to connect with the poor then the onus of learning the regional language lies with them. So at least one main regional language should be learned by all those who are getting some sort of education. So let me give you an example. You choose to be a doctor or you choose to be a lawyer. How do you work with a rural person who does not know the mainstream Urdu language, who does not know any other language but his own local community language or the regional language at best? It will be the problem of for the diagnosis, and a medical student actually highlighted this problem and said, we are constantly looking for someone who can make sense of his Sindhi because we can't do any diagnosis because we can't understand the patient. So the learning of the regional languages would mean then that the educated can use their agency to connect with the poor. And learning of these languages, the onus lies with the educated and with the education, because the point of education is to empower people, not just for themselves, but also to extend this empowerment to others who are less privileged. So this becomes then, language then becomes clearly an issue of inequality. And it is not limited to learning at schools, which is also impeded by the use of medium of instruction. So for instance, let me remind you, in higher education, those students who were doing very well when they were learning in Urdu in their schools suddenly found themselves disadvantaged, and only one student was able to follow a career of their choice, and it does not really help. So when we look at all this from capability approach, which we had picked up, we find that there was some equality in functioning, but there was inequality in terms of capabilities that these two different groups of students were developing. So equal functioning would mean, yes, all of them were able to complete matriculation, took the same exam, took the exam from the same textbooks. So they were there, yes, they completed secondary education, but the benefit of that education, the choices that they could make on the basis of the education they were given were different. So the opportunity structures for them were different because these do not match with the wider opportunity structure, linguistic opportunity structure selected by the language policy. This restricted the well-being of the students. They felt low self-esteem. There was restricted agency. They could not express themselves. They could not engage with schools. They could not think about engaging with the careers of their choice. And that is why we say that supporting bilingualism is extremely important. And when we are thinking of education, we need to think of additive bilingualism and not subtractive bilingualism, because the success or the development of any society comes with coordination or with linking with each other or with social capital. This collective social capital leads to collective social agency. And if people can't connect with themselves, they can't possibly lead towards or work towards the goal of development together.